Hi, you guys. I know I'm popping in with an update, very brief. Hi. Okay, I have updates for you guys, which you already know, or some of you. Thank you. Yeah, I know. It's been 3 weeks. Well, 3 weeks on Wednesday. I don't even know what day this is, Sunday. So I thought I would give you an update, and I probably look like hell because I'm not really sleeping, but I am. Yeah, I wanted to first thank, I got so many cards and so many like beautiful sentiments. So our family wanted to thank all of you guys for that. I couldn't really respond to everybody because there was just too much going on. So much going on, and we have literally a house and studio full of all of the beautiful things that everybody sent us, from people that knew Keithy to people who didn't. So that is so great. So I wanted to talk a little. Look at my eyes are like they're cried out, but yet not. I feel completely numb, in case people are asking. I can't feel anything, so it's weird. Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to do an update, and I'm dressed like a weirdo too. I wanted to do an update. Sorry, about what happened, just kind of to explain it, because people have been asking me, so I thought I would do an update. First of all, my Keithy passed away, on July 29th. He was 24, and it was in Chatsworth. So I want anybody who lives in the valley that was traveling up and down Desoto in Chatsworth on that day between noon and 1, if you remember anything or saw anything, like literally email me, because it's still unclear how he ended up where he ended up and how that happened. So, and people ask me, like, psychically, can't I get it? I can't feel anything. I can get bits and pieces. Jason's kind of blocked with it. I'm kind of blocked with it. We just can't, we know that something happened to push him off the road, but we can't actually get it. So, or I can't get it yet, and whatever. So what happened is, our little Keithy was riding his bike home, his motorcycle, and somehow ended up off the road, and way off the road. And by the time the end of the accident happened, he wasn't able to stay here. He did cross, I got that, but we don't know what happened. So it's kind of weird. So that's where I've been, and we've now, all of the functional parts of it are taken care of. So we're good from that. So I am going back to work. It's been 3 weeks, and there's a lot of stuff when somebody passes that you don't even think about. You don't think about it. I mean, some people think about it, but I didn't think about it. So you don't think about it, and there's so many things you have to do. And Keithy's friends, oh my God, Keithy's friends. Now, I literally love Keithy's friends, and this is what's so funny. Keithy were here, he'd be saying to me, stop hanging out with my friends. You can't hang out with my friends. This is what he would say. He'd say, why is my mom talking to my friends? He would say that. But his friends were so lovely. My friends were so lovely. John's friends were so lovely. Jason's friends, everybody pulled together and everybody helped. So it was kind of a group thing, and all of you guys totally sent beautiful stuff to us, wishes and cards and flowers, food. We got a lot of food. So yeah, it's probably a very uncomfortable thing for a lot of people to not know what to say. But the only thing I can say is just say whatever you want to say to people that go through this. For us, we kind of, it's weird. I got so numb when I was driving out there. We didn't know what happened. So the friend that was with Keithy didn't have our phone number, didn't have mine, didn't have Jason's, didn't have John's. So a third party phoned Jason and wouldn't quite tell him everything. And then Jason called me, and I literally just drove out the door, and I didn't even know where I was going, but I just drove down the freeway. And it was weird because my hands went numb, completely numb. And then I went numb all up my face and just completely numb, weirdly. So I still can't feel. If anybody asks, I can feel for other people, but I can't connect. So it's very strange for me to not be able to feel it, because I usually can feel people standing beside me at the bus stop or the neighbor or whatever. I can feel like nothing. So it's very strange. So everybody handles it differently, but the way that I know, it's very sad. But I wanted to let you guys know an update, because it's been 3 weeks, and so I got to say something. I can't text all you guys. Yeah, I can't do that. But I'm just looking at the letters. But I think if everybody would help pray for the correct people to step forward, I think that might help. Not draw a conclusion about what happened, but just pray that the information comes forward, because I'm getting bits and pieces from people sending me videos. The police are still looking at it. No, I don't think it was that. I don't give people credit, because I know that Keith crossed out right away, so it wasn't that. But I need the correct information. So I need to I need group prayer for that. I need group prayer to kind of bring it information, the correct information. I don't care what the information is, just that it's correct. Also, for those that think it's some kind of a other alternate circumstance, it doesn't matter what it is, because I'm going to keep talking. So you will never shut me up if that's what people think it is. It's not going to shut me up, I swear to you. Because I will not be silenced. You can do whatever you want. I'm still going to speak out against what I do. I mean, what I do speak out on. But what it is I don't have the bits and pieces of what happened. So that is what I'm looking for. And I did feel Keithy around a couple of times, but not very strong. So that drives me crazy. I can't see him in my dreams that I'm aware of, and that drives me crazy, because I could see for other people, but I can't see. It's interesting. So I'm just learning about this process in a different way. So it's kind of interesting, but I know, wait, I'm trying to read. Thank you. Yeah, I think the prayers and the group connection, if we can just get that the information gets out here. And if anybody was actually in Chatsworth or around Chatsworth at the time on Desoto on the 29th of July at noon, between noon and 1, I don't maybe think he even left the house till after 12 noon. But if they were, oh yeah, I know, right? If anybody saw that or was driving down that street or knows somebody that lives in the area, we have put signs up everywhere. We are getting videos. So anyway, that's the update on Keithy. No, I've only seen Keithy's brother's passing. That's the one that I knew would happen. And it's a different effect on me. This passing, with Keithy, I'm numb. With his brother, I had a nervous breakdown. So it's entirely different. Yeah, glass shops, exactly. So it's an entirely different experience. It's very strange. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to let you know, people are why aren't you all this and that? And I'm because there's work to be done. So I really feel it. I feel like I'm being directed to find answers. So I need prayers, and that's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for prayers to bring the correct information, which is weird. It happened on that full moon in Aquarius. The full moon in Aquarius I think the full moon was on August 3rd, and he passed on the 29th. So it was coming up on the full moon, and it was very weird. I'll tell you how weird it was. So Keithy, we found out at 2 o'clock that day. And when you pull up on a site, I will tell you, when you pull up on the site, and I've seen it before because I've been involved in other people's motorcycle accidents. I haven't done it. I mean, I've showed up there and watched them pass, and so I know what happens. And then I was living it, which was interesting. But you wait a long time. So you are there with your person, and you are waiting for people to clear the body, clear your car, clear this, clear that. You were just waiting on the side of the street. So my friends came and joined me, which was really great. Arlene and Carol, and they came and joined me, and Jason and Kenna were there. We were all there and we just waited. And so when it cleared up, it was kind of strange because the following day there was another accident on a bike, but it was by our house, and Keithy was far away from our house, but it was by our house and it was on a different street. And it turned out that the co-worker of Keith that came to the memorial, it was her brother the next day after Keithy that passed. So there was a series of things. And then one of the kids broke his legs in 3 spots. Jason almost got his foot like broken from a car that ran over it and didn't notice him. It was very strange. That's the full moon energy at that time. So it literally went out. And yes, if you want to ask, I could see it in my astrology chart. I saw it, but not necessarily specifically. I saw the aspect that caused the problem. So we were analyzing that to see if 10 people had the same aspect, what would happen to them. And the key with astrology is, yeah, it's very odd. No, there was a series of things that happened all the way down. No, I don't think it's anything conspiracy. I just want to know who ran him off the road. So that's what we're praying for, because it's clear to me that someone did. And there was weird people, like there was one police officer we spoke with and initially, and the information he gave us was completely opposite of what my body felt and what Jason's body felt, but we were not there. So we were listening to what he was saying, and I was like, that's not true. This was me. I'm like, that's not true. Jason was like shaking his head. So we were like, that's not true. So that's what we were talking about. Anyway, he was invested in making it something else, which is really interesting because Psychic Deanna and I went out the day after it happened and we walked the neighborhood. So we walked from house to house to house, up and down that street, everybody up and down that street. And we asked them for, do you have video camera? Did you have the Ring doorbell? And then we went behind there and yeah, exactly. We don't know what happened yet. He was just run off the road. We don't know. So we asked for all the information. Now, one of the women that we came across the house, there was a daycare. Anyway, one of the women came out, a young girl, and I won't say her name, but we happened to knock on the door. And now the cop never told me this the day before. I asked her if she had door cam, and she said she was the one that worked on Keithy before he passed. So she and her brother were the ones that went out there and tried to help Keithy. So she told me that there was a truck. I'm not going to say the name of the truck company because the police are investigating that, but she said there was a truck that pulled up and a guy got out of a truck speaking broken English, and this was her words, not mine. And she told me that he said, "Oh my God, I didn't see him." And then when she finished doing what she was doing with my son, she said she looked up and the truck was gone. So the first cop never mentioned that to me. Not a mention. Not one word about it. Not one word. So if I had not have gone back the next day, which how many people are going to do that, but I was directed to do that, so that's what I did. And we walked up and down the street. We left notes. We talked to everybody. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It's a very strange birthday. Oh no, they totally lie. I was like, no. It was really interesting, but let me see. Your stream fizzed when you said, okay. Yeah, I'm sure it did. But anyway, we talked to her. So I went back to the police station the following day, and I'm just like going to bed at 1, getting up at 4. I've been sleeping in Keithy's bed with Tulip. Tulip doesn't know where Keithy is, or maybe she does, but I'm sleeping there. I'm trying to get him to come to me. So we went back to the police station, and I said, this needs to be like a hit and run. Everybody on the street told me it was a hit and run. The cop is like, it's not a hit and run. It's just, he made a mistake on a flat road and just drove off the curb and drove 6 feet into several different things. And I'm like, no. Anyhow, his other cop people said that the witness had told them this, but they never told me. So I would have gone home and and this is a good point, I would have probably not brought it up if I'd have fallen apart, okay? So even in the midst of the most horrific thing you can think of happening, because understand when a person's dead, I got his bike. I already got the bike. That took me 3 days and cost $500 because the police, instead of saying to you, we could have this towed to your home and you could pay $100 or $150, we're going to take it to the police impound it and charge you daily. That was good. And then they say to you, but you need a death certificate, which takes 3 weeks. So they're charging you the whole 3 weeks. So I got the cop to get the bike out because I said, I don't have a fucking 3 weeks to pay on bullshit for the bike. So the bike's in our house. And we had the bike inspected by a very good, close family friend's father who does this for a living. So for 40 years. So we had it inspected. So we know the way the bike behaves at certain speeds and in certain ways, and we found that out. So we know that what the initial report was, no matter what they were saying, it was first hit and run, and then it was, oh no, it's just he went off the road, like, you know, I think I'll just drive my car right off the road for no reason on a flat road. So we found that out, and when I went back to, I've been to the police station several times, it's very strange. You have to wear your mask, you have to wait outside. The police come down, then they assign it to somebody else. That person goes on vacation or gets sick. Then they assign it. Now there's a nice officer looking, well, they're all nice. Okay, whatever. There's a new officer with new eyes looking. We put up, the kids and I put up the signs all over the street for the reward. And we went to the gas stations. What I found interesting, there was this interesting event. Okay, so every house I went to, they told me the police were there looking for camera videos. And so they all said that. They said, yeah, I know. You know what? I'm just going to deal with it till I figure it out is what's going to happen. And that's my intention that I'm putting out there. I will find out what happened. You cannot hide. It's just hidden temporarily, probably because of the full moon, but you can't hide. You will not hide. It will not work. So, no. And I know that. I know I will find out. And you can't hide. I have tape. There's videos of Keithy on the ground. There's videos of just before the accident. Some guy posted a video online like a fucker, but thank God he did because I got his video online. Somebody sent it to me. I didn't really want to see it, but I saw it. And so I had that video and he was going towards Keith and Keith was already over here and people were looking at Keith. He was already off the bike. Then this lady I talked to on the street behind, 2 weeks after I talked to her, she sent me her Ring doorbell and she said, look at this. She's been looking for me. Lovely people who want to help. So yeah, that's Keithy. I know the video. They just put the video out there. The kid's dead on the ground and they put the video out there, but that's okay. I will find that person. That guy has an Instagram account. So I messaged him and he's kind of removed his Instagram account. I'm like, I just want to see, I don't care that you took the video on your car. It could be a dash cam. It could be this thing like, he pulled his camera out. I totally get it, but I need the rest of the film so I can see what else is going on. The lady with the Ring doorbell sent me another video, not of Keith, because her video faces probably 20 feet to the left of Keith, but it literally shows a different truck pulled over on the curb, like went up on the curb sideways, meaning, and then you can hear people screaming over here. So you know the timing is just after Keith, whatever happened. So that person, we're trying to do it. My friends are blowing up the pictures, doing everything to get it so we can find it, including the people that helped Keith at the scene. Now, just the interesting part of it is Keithy passed away outside of a Buddhist monastery. So the monks started praying for him right away. And apparently all the people at the scene prayed around him so that he crossed. So I get that. And I know I'm completely emotional. I told you I'm dead inside. So whatever, I'm numb. But my goal right now is to raise and to pray. I know he was the monks. Yeah, no, the little monk lady had Deanna. Deanna and I kept going back all week. I drove Deanna crazy. I'm like, do you want to get in the car? Do you want to go? And by the way, none of these people, I'm going to sound obnoxious now. None of these people, when we went into the monastery, they hugged us. There were no masks on. They stood by us. They prayed with us. They put Keithy's name on the board, our family's name on the board. All of the people around Keithy who were trying to save him and then started praying for him, prayed over the body. Nobody was flipped out. They all did it. They were all kind. They were all good. And the people that tried to save Keithy came to his memorial, and they were able to talk to Keith's dad and Keith's brother and do that. So that was extremely good, because that lets you know that you're loved. It's very important when you, it's very important that when you are born, you are loved, and when you pass out, you are loved. So they all prayed around him. And Keithy had a friend, I won't say the name of his friend, but one of his friends was driving his car back. So Keithy was on the bike and the friend was in the car. The friend got caught at the red light, 3-minute delay, and he saw the traffic jam but didn't understand what it was. And he got out of the car as soon as he saw the bike, and he started flipping out. And once Keithy passed, the people prayed, like they literally all stood around him. They just all they did to send the soul off. Yeah, it's very traumatic. My husband is not doing well, obviously. He's at home, probably doesn't want me speaking, but I can't. I had to, whatever, I have to go back to work. I have to move forward, and I will find out what happens. So my mindset is like that. And it's okay to talk about it. I've been talking about it all day. It is the power of prayer. I'm actually asking for help for people to pray to get the correct information, or the people that step forward. Yeah, Lila spoke at the memorial. We had two. His friends had the most amazing, beautiful, lovely, exquisite collection of his friends and his pictures. They did so good. I'm gonna mention some of their names, but I shouldn't mention any of their names because I'll forget somebody. But his friends that did there's collages behind me, and there's collages at John's, and they're all over. They came up here and they sat, and I have 6 boxes of big 5-pound tubs of pictures, and we went through all the pictures. They looked through his baby books. It was really cute. They were cracking up looking at his first grade writing projects. Some of these kids have known him since he was in kindergarten, like Marvin, Lucas, Austin, and then his friends Allie and Andrew and Tia, they've known him since he was very young, I think like 10 or 11, and they were so great. All the kids, Jordan, all of them, so beautiful. And I'm missing a shit ton of people that I should be mentioning. But Jordan and Austin, Lucas, Dorian, all of them, lovely, lovely. Tia, Andrew, oh my God, and Allie, those 3, and George. I'll say it. Poor George was with Keithy, and anyway, George, pray for George, because George was very traumatized by it, obviously. And he was one of Keithy's besties, and so it was very, he was there, but that was also good because Keith was with a friend who loved him, so that was good. Yeah, anyhow, those kids put a huge thing together last night, and they bought me, because it was also my birthday. I wanted to send Keith off weirdly on my birthday. It was either going to be Saturday or Sunday, and I thought it should be on my birthday, because every year Keithy would celebrate my birthday, but he would celebrate it on a different day because it was usually on a weekend or a Friday. So he'd go out with his friends, and then I would get Sunday night. So this time I thought, I'll be with all your friends on a Saturday night. And it was actually really lovely. It was lovely to hear their stories about Keith and how much they loved him. Let's see. Yeah, he was so loved. He was such a good boy. And his brother will miss him too. His friends, Paige, he came right away and sat with me, and her sister Stacy, they came and sat with me. They sat with John. Everybody went to see John. They came, everybody just came and did everything they could, but there's really nothing you can do. Thank you for the birthday wishes. There's like nothing you can do. You actually, literally, if you have, and the fireworks. Yeah, there was a crazy lady. I'll tell you the story. There's a crazy lady, Psycho Karen, outside the memorial. because they were lighting fireworks off. My Jason, my Keithy, they love their fireworks. Andrew, they always go to Andrew's house, Allie and Tia's house to light off those fireworks. Tons of them, okay? And so they had all these fireworks. This lady stops her car in the middle of the road, and I'm just like looking at her. I thought she was one of the kids' friends. And so they're outside the Buddhist monastery. The monks don't care. Okay, the monks don't care. The neighbors don't care. Psycho lady pulls up in her clown car. I know, and she starts going after Jason. And, then we got the police helicopters above us, and then we got the cops there. Anyway, they sent her away. So it was, I was like, what are you doing, mental patient lady? She was very mental. Let's see. Yeah, I know. The fireworks are fun. Yeah, that's interesting. Whoever said a truck with red writing, that's exactly what was described by one of the witnesses. I'm not going to mention the company, but they're trying to figure it out because, of course, they were focused on Keith, which is what you want. You want them to be focused on Keith, or whoever your loved one is. What you want to understand, though, when something like this happens, which I didn't understand because when I had Keith, okay, so I had Keithy, I had postpartum after Keithy, and then his brother died. So at that point, I was in flight or fright mode, and now I'm in numb mode because I'm not postpartum, but I am menopausal, so I don't know. It could be crazy. But it was interesting because you have no control over anything, so you just have to go forward. Yeah, I'm in shock, totally. I mean, I'm not quite as in shock. I was in shock. But I want to find out who did this, and then I will be able to release the focus. So when you have to do it, you have to literally focus. You can't actually cry all the time because if you cry, you won't get the stuff done and your loved one won't get where they're going or laid to rest, all of that. Very weird to view the body in Los Angeles now, to view anybody in Los Angeles of any relative, your grandmother, your baby, your husband, your wife, it doesn't matter. Newsom shut it down. Shut it down the Friday after Keith died. Shut it down. No more viewings. Luckily, and I'm not saying where it is, but I will say they were excellent. They disregarded that, and all Keithy's friends got to see him. They all got to see him before he was put. Yeah, exactly. They got to see him. So we ignored that, and we also had a beautiful celebration in the park with the preacher, and the fire trucks and the police vehicles went above, they're probably, what is this gathering? And everybody, my beautiful friends showed up. Keithy's beautiful friends, Johnny's beautiful friends, our family, everybody. It was really actually a lovely testament that way to Keith and his life. So that was lovely. And we didn't get busted by the police, which was a plus. So now it's just about gathering everybody's prayers to find out, for the information to come to light. That's actually what I need. I need prayer warriors. That's really what I need. I need people bringing prayers, just that the information be found. That's it. That's actually literally what I need. I can hardly look at my eyes are blurry. No, I cry when I'm alone, but I'm saying during the day, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find out what happened. It's just something that I have to do. And there's a focus, and all Keith's friends feel the same. And they're all really, really good friends. And I know Keithy's there. Some of them have felt him. I'm sorry, somebody's just texting me now. Some of them have felt him. Some of them felt he was in the room. Like the night after Keithy, or 2 days after Keithy passed, Kenna and Jason were in the room, and the salt lamp kept going on, and you have to actually turn it. It's not like a push button thing. It's a salt lamp. So that was from Keithy, and we know this. But it is interesting because I would say with astrology, wait, I can't even see that. I would say with astrology, I would say this too. If you are, thank you guys. Yeah, we just need the information. I don't know what else to do because you literally, when your child goes or anybody you love goes, you have no control whatsoever, none. So I think people fight it because maybe they think that if they fall apart, it's good, but I just need information, and I can only say pray because I can't I wasn't there, and cameras, I need cameras. I don't need cameras. I need people's camera information. There was an interesting story though. The first officer on the scene that I I would say that probably a lot of people that have these accidents and or situations, I would say you're going to have to do your own work because you're probably not going to get your answers if you rely on quote the officials, because I don't think they have the time. I don't think they care. Some care, I'm sure, but I think if they can find an easy way out, they will. Yeah, no, I don't. I just think that you have to. I just immediately had to get up and look. I just knew that something's not right here. Stop telling me bullshit. It's bullshit. Stop doing that. Yeah, no, I think I'm protected. Literally, I think I'm protected because my mouth is so dry. You can't drink or eat, but I think I'm totally protected because I'm so numb. So I think I'm protected so that I can find the information I need to find. That's what I think. If I'm sobbing and I'm freaking weirdo all the time, upside down, which, I mean, I felt like I got punched in the stomach. But if your insurance company, yeah, it was not my insurance company. So, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. They don't even give a shit. No one gives a shit. And it's not my insurance company, but I mean, it wasn't under my insurance, but I think you actually have to go out and do the shit yourself. So I think as a society right now, this is just an observation, just an observation, but I actually think that you have to not rely on authorities and not wait for them to do the work. I think you actually have to start asking people yourself, because it's 3 weeks later and we haven't accessed the tape from the gas stations around. So those will get run over. Like, I went and asked the gas stations the first week, can I get the tapes? And they're like, you have to get the police. So then I had to get the police to go there, which will take another week. And then it's a third week for them to get the tape if they haven't already done it, right? I can't get anything. I can only see his hands. I did acupuncture to open up my third eye right after because I was so blocked. I did cupping. I prayed. I basically said, show me. I meditated. I'm just like, can't. This is just me right now. I can't. With my stepson, I understood exactly what happened by the time of the wake. So I got that, but I can't get it now. So it makes me insane. It makes me crazy. It makes me nuts. But when we got to the, I'm very fidgety. When we got to the accident site, the first officer there told us about these biker guys that witnessed what happened. And they said the biker guys made eye contact with Keith. And I was like, that's fucking interesting, because he said the way he described it, if I'm correct, I may be repeating this wrong because I could have been in shock, but I'm pretty sure he said there was 2 or 3 of them or 5 of them, probably 2, coming up behind Keith, and Keith passed them and made eye contact with them. And I thought, so they could see he made eye contact with them. They took these people's or person's word. And what was interesting is, I went to the house, I went down the street, the cop had pointed in the direction of the house. So I waited a day, I went down there, I talked to somebody in the house of that person. She repeated the story that was told to her, but of course she wasn't there and I wasn't there, so we don't know. And then we found this guy and I talked to him 2 or 3 times, and it was interesting because there were little pieces. So I think he got parts of the story, but I don't think he saw what happened to push Keith over, which was interesting. And there were some discrepancies or inconsistencies with the way the story was repeated that I knew to be false from the people that worked on Keith. So it was kind of interesting. It's interesting when people talk to you because some people are really invested. Some people can be opportunists during this time, believe it or not. Somebody pulled up at the scene and said to George at the time, were you coming from this shop? Here, get on the phone. You need a lawyer. And I'm like, who fucking pulls up to a fatality and says you need a lawyer off that? Like, who is actually driving and saying, you need a fucking lawyer right now. Like, what? And then there was, let's see, hopefully, yeah, well, yeah, no, I read your guys' comments. Yeah, they listen to police scanners. I think you're right. Thank you for that, because there was some fucker with a camera out there too, with a big scoped camera, like a news camera. Yeah, they might have caused it. I don't know, whatever. It could be there. Yeah, they listened to the police scanner, but somebody was out there with a big, huge, like, looked like an Asian kid, maybe 30, Asian white mixed kid. And I'm just saying that from the way his hair was cut. Anyway, from a picture I saw, but I don't know who showed me the picture, but he had a camera. And when I asked the initial investigating officer why somebody was taking pictures of my son out there on the road dead, he said, well, it's a public street. And I'm like, you wouldn't let me go over to my son on the public street, but you're letting this guy take pictures of him? And he's like, well, they work for the news. I'm like, well, I'm going to find the fucker and I'm going to have a chat with his dumb ass, and I'm going to find out what he got in the camera, because apparently he took pictures, according to the people working on Keith, all over of his body, and just fucking did that. Meanwhile, me and Jason had to stay behind there because we weren't allowed to go near him, and he was our kid. I know exactly what they're doing. It doesn't matter. I'll find him. It's okay. George screamed at him and whatever. I know, it's disgusting. Yeah, I can hire a private investigator, and that will be the next step. I have to let the police go through it first. I'm going to be very public with this, because if anybody is in Chatsworth, anybody in SoCal who's in Chatsworth goes up and down Desoto on the 29th around I'm going to say actually between noon and 1, and I know it's fucking horrible what they do. Anyway, anybody who goes up and down that street, has a neighbor, has a relative that lives there, may have seen something, camera, dash cam, anything, may see something. So I don't know what to do. I've put signs out, flyers out. Nothing will happen. I know, nothing will happen. I know. I'm literally out there every day. Like, those neighbors probably see me coming and they're like, oh God, here she is. She's going up and down the street again. But all my friends, people are going up and down the street, up and down the street. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Yeah. Let's see. She sees a man named. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm looking through footage. I can see footage one way and footage another way, but I can't see a lot of footage. I just need our prayers. If we all pray, whoever wants to pray, if we do this and we pray, then I believe information will come forward. So whoever the information comes to, I don't care. I just need it coming to somebody who remembers they saw something. Maybe they don't know they saw something. Thank you guys. You guys did, the letters, the emails I got, people writing me beautiful letters, sending me condolence cards, and our family, and flowers and everything. So great. Yeah, my friends are all psychics, and so they're getting information. One of Keithy's cousins, I'm going to name her name, Stephanie Bella. Anyway, Stephanie, I hadn't talked to her, but she came up with the same information on her own when she was meditating that my psychic friends came up with. So we kind of know what we're narrowing into, but we don't actually know what we're narrowing into. Yeah, kind of weird. Kind of a weird thing. And my voice is very dry. Yeah, so I just need the information to come out in the light. I actually do. There's something going on. And here was the weirdest thing. I'm not strong, I'm numb. Trust me, I'm not strong. I can't control this. I have no control, so I know what I cannot control, and this is that. And it's in God's time, not my time, so I'm just trying to get the information out there. But it was interesting because when I went to I'm laughing at this because when I went to the salt baths, absolutely. What happened is, no, none of the news. It doesn't go on the news. They don't give a fuck on the news. It's just some little white boy in the valley on a motorcycle accident. And by the way, when any motorcycle people, I will stay hydrated. When any motorcycle people have an accident, 9 out of 10 times, it's usually another driver that doesn't see them unless somebody's like speeding like a maniac on the freeway. That's not the case here. But it's usually the driver that doesn't see the motorbike, turns into them, swerves, whatever. But the cops like to say it's the biker's fault because, we got to blame the biker. No, 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 no. Sometimes it is, but in this case it isn't. And so initially when I went down the street, Deanna and I, we were told by everybody on the street it was a hit and run, and it was written up as a hit and run. And then what was so interesting when I went to the police station after was really interesting because I was talking to the first officer, and I know it's not, I know I could feel that. I went there, I saw, and I immediately knew something happened. I'll tell you how I didn't find out. I didn't find out till I got there. His friends would not tell me on the phone. I started cussing out. David was there. It was David who phoned me, and I kept saying, it was Jason that phoned me, and I said, he told me Keith hit the floor, they say. And I said, well, what hospital's he at? Because I immediately assumed hospital. And Jason said, I don't know. I phoned the police and said, this is where my son was in an accident. What hospital? And they said, we can't tell you that. We'll have the officers phone you back. I guess because maybe I'm not his mother. Maybe I'm a lunatic trying to kill him or something. But they never did phone me back. And then Keith's other friend that George called drove out there before I got there and sent me the pin for where it was, but would not tell me on the phone. And I just can remember screaming at him. And I was on the phone with Deanna. So when I got out of the car, I had my these thingies on that are going to fry our brains. But anyway, I had those thingies on, and she was still on the phone. I ran out of the car and just was screaming at the top of my lungs, and she was not off the phone. So that traumatized her, and she's known Keithy since he was like 10. So that was upsetting, obviously, to her. And then Jason did the exact same thing when he pulled up 10 minutes behind me. So it was, but we saw him. I knew he was gone, and I couldn't feel him. I was trying to feel him, and I had no idea when he passed, right? Oh, they always blame the bikers. But I knew when I looked at him, it wasn't his fault. Like, I absolutely knew that. Other than he may have reacted the way he reacted, and that's what caused the problem, right? So but here's the thing, there's always a chain, there's always a chain of events. I found it interesting when I went to the police station, and still I have not had an officer call me except for the new officer that's been assigned to the case. Nobody called me, nobody checked on me, nobody even called to tell me he passed. They didn't call his father, they didn't call anybody, they didn't do a referral call. And my friend was with me, Arlene, and Carol was with me, and there was only supposed to be family underneath the police tapes. Somehow the photographer got in there, who isn't a police photographer, is just some fucking goddamn opportunist. He got on there, all right? So, but my friends, they couldn't come under. So Arlene said she was my sister because she's blonde. Even though I'm not blonde, she is blonde. And so she said, I'm her sister. And funniest, it's not funny in the midst of it, Carol shows up. She says she's Jason's aunt. So Jason comes up to me. He's like, where's my aunt? He doesn't even know who we're talking. And I go, Jason, Carol is your aunt. And she came under. So luckily we were allowed to have people with us, because if it was just so bizarre, like nobody checked. And the people that were checking were trying to say mean shit. It was weird. They were saying stupid shit to have me break down. So I immediately shut down. And that happened a lot with some of the people I was talking to. There were strong people that were kind and considerate and lovely and heartfelt and beautiful. And then there was a fucking idiot down the street that was trying to say bullshit to my face. And it was interesting. So there are opportunistic sickos that when you talk to them, they want to be included, or they need attention, or I don't know what their issue is, but that's true. So never take anybody at face value. Do your own work when something like this happens. Do not assume that a police officer is going to do the work that you do, because it's not their relative. It's not really their responsibility. It's like some government made up job over here where they do it. And it made me think about every single missing child on the planet Earth. No, you can't get it. They don't want it. We tried to get it on the news. No one gives a shit. COVID's on the news. Don't you know that? COVID. That's right. Let's worry about fucking COVID. with the COVID. But anyway, it's interesting because I thought about all the people that have kids that go missing or end up murdered and they don't know where these children are. Like, little kids, even somebody like Elizabeth Smart, if you didn't find that girl, they did find her, but if you didn't find that girl, and what was she walking around with in public? A freaking mask, remember? How interesting is that? Anyway, if you didn't find the little kid, like the little boy in Oregon, that Chiron, whatever his last name is, that cute little boy with the glasses, imagine that family cannot find answers. It would drive you crazy, crazy. So you have to do your own work. You have to do yes, that little boy, that cute little, also bespeckled little boy that looked like Keithy when he was little, cute little boy. Now imagine if you never know what happened to your kid. It made me think like these people that, and usually let's be truthful, like minority races, kids go missing all the time. No one gives a shit, right? And those parents never get closure. I thought about that because, I'm lucky I have people that witnessed it and friends supporting me. But imagine if your kid just disappeared off the planet. I know my kid was in an accident. I know where the body is and I know where that is. But imagine those people. So I thought about that and I thought we all have to do better as people. We actually have to get involved. We actually have to speak about things and we actually have to come forward if we see something. Somebody saw something on the road there. The people that did have already come forward to me, but somebody else saw something and nobody's come forward yet. So, yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry. I just didn't shower today again, but we have to do better. All of us as a people, myself included as people. And keep in mind, I'm just going to grab my water over there because I feel like I have cotton mouth. Hold on one sec. I'm getting my water. Oh gosh, thirsty. But imagine if we don't participate. Like, let's say you drive by somewhere, because there was a van that is pulled over right after the accident, and the van is up on the sidewalk. We slowed it down. It's off of somebody's ring thing. And the officer said he received it because I get the emails, or people send them to me because I've talked to them, and they hold on. Yeah, exactly. They always blame they blame the riders. It's really fucked up because, I mean, there are some riders that are maniacs. I've seen them. I've seen people do all kinds of shit in the road, including car drivers, bus drivers, weirdo vehicle drivers, all of that. But still, we have to take more responsibility. But let me show you. We slowed the tape down, and I have to thank my friend Marina for this because she literally stopped the tape from the Ring doorbell. Now, keep in mind, to the right of these vehicles, okay, to the right of these vehicles is where Keith is. And it's just after the accident because you can hear the screaming. But this vehicle right here drove up on the curb. It's on the Ring thing. And this one passed it. Now, the cam that's on that's literally like this one has two people in it and has somebody looking back, and then it takes off when the cops come. Why? Why did it do that? That's right. Why? I don't know, not saying anything. I'm just like, whatever that is, because we're trying to blow it up. We're trying to do everything, and we're trying to see the name on the truck. It doesn't matter if you want to say it's the dark arts. God does not take somebody out, okay, like cross them over if they are of God. He gives them a window because it's their time. So no matter what the people do on earth, you can't get the soul. The most important thing is the soul, not the physical body. So it doesn't matter what these people think they did. Number one, I'm going to go back to doing videos on pedophiles in Hollywood, and you're not going to stop me, and none of us are scared. No matter what, we don't give a fuck. You already, whatever, if you think you did, I don't care. I'm not shutting up. You will never shut me the fuck up. So there's that. Number two, there is always balance in the universe. And so therefore, whatever happened to Keithy, whoever did it, whether it be by accident, by choice, by scam, by not paying attention, drunkenness, I can feel what happened. I can feel the movement. I don't care what the problem is. I don't care why you did it. I will fucking find you. Whether it was an accident or not an accident. And I'm putting that intention out there. So that is what will happen. And it's not always a dark arts thing. So and this is another thing I was going to say, because I found it very unfair to me that Keithy didn't live a full life the way that we consider it to be a full life. But when I listened to his friends and I listened to the way they describe him and what he did, and even John said, because John spent more time with him. Oh shit. Look, it's my little helper on the phone. Hold on one sec. I'm doing a YouTube video. Did you find something out?
I talked to my friend Bill. Okay, he said he's encountered the guy, doesn't really know him, that is Topanga.
Mm-hmm.
He said the reason why you haven't gotten that footage from the gas station, he said there's partly the political stuff, the defunding. He said there's so much stuff that has like pretty much put everything in a standstill, pretty much.
I've got you.
And yeah, and
That's part of it.
the reason why.
Okay. Let me call you back because I'm literally on YouTube, but I answered just to hear. Yeah, I'll call you back. Okay, bye. Love you. Bye. Okay, defunding with the police was one of the information. But I'm sorry, I'm just taking phone calls, staring at I start to stare off. I'm like this, let me stare. Yeah, political. Well, exactly. That's exactly what it is. But anyway, what was I going to say? So Keithy did not live a life the way that we think. And I heard a lot of people say to me, and people were so lovely sending their cards. Our family is so grateful. Jason, Keith, Jason, John, I keep calling everybody Keith. I answered the phone. I'm like, hey, Keith, is Keith home? It's like very strange. Our family is so grateful for all the support from people we know and people we don't know. What I realized with Keith and what I heard from his beautiful friends and people that knew him and people he just talked to, anybody that ran into him, Keith did his mission. Like he actually spiritually was a good person, like better than his mother, better than his father. Like we're kind of like a little bit, a little bit rough over here in the corner. Keith wasn't really like that. So Keith was a teacher to all of us. And in the last 6 months of his life, because I spent more time over here in the studio, so John was with him a lot and Jason, and Keith had become, and his friends told me this, Keith had become very spiritual, very meditative, and very, very understanding of the way the world was. The one thing I do know and was told in this life, in this world, is that the expectation of a long life is our expectation. It's some kind of a societal thing. But if somebody comes down, we're not guaranteed to outlive our children. I mean, die before our children and then have to outlive them. People say it's unfair. I don't know that it's unfair because I don't know God's purpose in it. I don't presume to know it, but I know Keith is with God, so I don't judge it the same way. We have purpose, and when purpose is done, children go, old people go, young people go, people go. So I don't look at death the same way. I don't know. We all have a purpose. And so when the purpose is achieved, we can take a window out, meaning we can take an opportunity. So there is an opportunity to leave the planet. I wish it hadn't have been such a violent thing for his physical body. That's exactly right. The traffic, I have the number for that. So I unfairly, Keithy left me, his father, his friends, his brother, his relatives, his cousins, his beautiful cousins in Canada and LA, all the family. So we miss him, but there's something else going on. So I don't presume to understand it. I do know he went I know he crossed right over. I felt that. We all know that. And we know that he had a choice. I've heard it from more than one psychic that he had a choice. There was a window, a portal that opened up, and he had a choice. He made a choice. Now, that's a good thing. I mean, it's not good for a mother, but here's an interesting thing. One of the women young ladies who was working on Keith's body, had her brother, half brother, I think, stepbrother maybe, had a motorcycle accident 8 years before this. And he didn't cross out of his body, and he's basically paralyzed. So as she was working on Keith, she also was reminiscent of what happened in her own family, which I found very interesting, and what happened to her brother, and what happened with that. So there's an interesting thing there. And Keith left so much happiness, and his friends really, really loved him, and he was really, really a good person. As a mother, I think he's a good person. His father thinks he's a good person. His brother thinks he's a good person, but we really don't know what he's doing out there when we're not watching, right? He was a good person. He helped and was kind to everybody. So he did his thing. I'm just sorry that he left before he hit the ground. I know that. I felt that. So he wasn't in pain. Somebody walked up to me and told me, one of the witnesses, who was a man that came on it, he said, your son left in no pain. He left immediately, pretty much. Which was a good thing to hear. And as I said, the monks were chanting for him. The little, she called herself a Buddhist nun monk. I don't know. She was the sweetest little lady. She took Deanna and I into the temple and prayed. Well, they chant, but she did her prayers and put us on the prayer board and talked to us for a good hour about Keith and what she felt and what she observed that day and what she heard and what went on and the people praying. A Buddhist mass. Yeah, maybe that's it. I couldn't understand her English, and I wish that I could have, but she spoke with a little bit of an accent, or in a little bit of a different way. And she was this tiny little lady, and yeah, she was beautiful, and she was kind, and she told us, because it's closed because of the COVID thing, she told us we could come back, ring the doorbell, and go in anytime we wanted to. And she put the whole family's name on the board and was very kind. And all of the people that came to help Keith were actually, I feel horrific that my son passed. That was not what I mean, who wants their kid to pass? Nobody. But the way that he passed was very shocking. Basically threw me out of my body, probably. I won't get back in for quite some time. But the people that were around him, he was so loved that I was told they formed a circle around him and prayed over him so that nobody could get past the circle. That's what I was told. So I was told he was loved. And I was told he was a warrior by the people that were around him. So all of these people that were with my son, I couldn't be with him. His father couldn't be with him. His brother couldn't be with him, but these lovely people were. So I don't know what else anybody can ask for. Remember that when you come up on somebody that's had an accident or has fallen down or whatever, remember to extend kindness to them, because it's very important. Like, it sounds weird because you're thinking your child died, but it was extremely important. Those two lovely people came to Keith's memorial, and they talked to his father for a very long time. And it was so lovely because they were able to let his father know that Keithy was loved, which was important. And Jason was able to talk to them. So that fills in information. And it's a very odd experience to actually, but to live through it. But I feel like I'm in third party. So I can't get my head there right now. I just know that I need to pray for the information. I think John is finally out of bed. John, that sounds weird. John is up and about and very much enjoys Keith's friends. He was so happy to see Keithy's friends. So he loved it. And I will say that Tia, I'm going to give this, Tia with most of the credit. Allie and Andrew brought Johnny beef stew that they cooked. And it smelled so good. I don't eat beef, but it smelled so good. And then Jason was like looking at it going, is it good? Like, he didn't understand like this beef stew part of it, right? He was like, is it good? And then Johnny ate it and it was so good and it was so delicious. And so Tia said she would keep cooking. Allie would do the shopping, Andrew would do the delivering, and Tia would do the cooking for Johnny. So yeah, that's correct. And so that, 2 sons, exactly. So, and 24 years apart. After we gave birth to Keith, I say we, it was me that was pushing Keith out, but Johnny and I had Keithy. When Keith took his first steps, his brother passed away. So, it was a very different kind of a passing. So Keithy would turn 25 on December 18th. So in October, it would be exactly 24 years since his older brother passed. And then Keithy passed. So yes, that's what it would be. But anyway, Tia made this really good beef stew. And so I've told them they've inherited John because I can't cook. I can grill salmon and vegetables, but I can't cook. Anyway, they were so lovely. So lovely. Paigey sat with me. Her sister Paigey and Stacy sat with me. We went through pictures. Everybody was so kind. I know, why wouldn't they be kind? I don't know why they wouldn't be kind, but there were some fucking weirdo people I talked to at the same time. Anyway, yeah. So we got so many pictures of, let's see, report. I don't even know who Delisa is. I don't even care what you say. You can't affect me. Like, once this has happened, anything you say to me, I really don't care, because what are you going to fucking do to me? Say something to me? Shut up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say, because what are you going to do to me? Nothing. So that's what I'm saying. People get opportunistic and they get weird. Sorry, I was like, I think he did have a higher mission. It's weird. I have a weird peacefulness in that I know he crossed over, or he's protecting me so I don't go insane, one or the other. I don't feel insane. I just feel nothing, numb. So I'm probably post-traumatic stress right now is probably where I am with that. But it was interesting because the Nextdoor app is a good idea. I just saw that. Yeah, I think I'm post-apocalyptic. Who cares? Exactly. Yeah, it will probably come in waves. I know. It's an interesting experience. And I will also say this to anybody out. I'm still in shock. I probably look in shock, but I thought I should come on because it's been 3 weeks. And so I feel I had to explain, not explain, I don't owe anybody anything, but I felt like I was in a condition enough where I could speak because we put everything into order and Keith is laid to rest. And so that's fine, which is a good thing. But it was it's very surreal. I guess it's very surreal. But also understand, if you're going to counsel people in this life about these things, well, possibly these things happen in order to teach you. So I looked at it as a teaching thing, and I'm just going to say, it's going to sound bizarre. I'm trying to analyze it as if it makes sense. Probably doesn't. But I figured that this experience, if I fall apart and start doing drugs or drinking, I'm not going to do that. But let's say I had an inclination to do that. Well, I sleep about 5 hours a night, but I only sleep about 5 hours a night anyway. So I don't, I get up early. Yeah, the earthquake happened twice right after. Exactly, like 2 days after. If you're going to, literally, if you're going to tell people that God has your children, whose children have passed, and if you're going to tell them that there's life after this life, which I believe there is because I've seen it, then when it happens to you, you have to acknowledge your own faith. So it really comes down to faith because we have no other, there's nothing. So I realized that I espoused this to you guys for years. So now it's time for me to put that into practice for myself, which I knew Jimmy was fine when he passed, but I wasn't able to, I went crazy for a good 10 years. So like probably 3 years, I was like agoraphobic and crazy. But what kind of a hypocrite are you if when your child dies, you suddenly don't have faith? That's, yes, it still hurts, of course, but I do believe he's with God. So he was a child of God. We all go home to God. So that is what I feel. Um, so I'm very numb. Yes. Yeah. Very fucking numb. I can't feel anything. People kept crying and hugging me, and I was like, what are they doing? It was, I know what they're doing, but it was very strange. So, um, I am aware of what happened. I can feel it, but I can't see it like I see for other people, which is really even more odd because I expected, but I suspect it will come in its own time. So that's what I will do. Yeah, I'm probably still in shock. I mean, I guess you could be in shock, out of body. I'm probably out of body too, except, no, I can feel myself. I can feel myself. It's very weird. It's just a weird experience. It's very weird. Um, But getting back to the most important thing, I probably will be able to fully grieve when I can see and understand. I think I need everybody's prayers in order to raise the energy for the information to come through. There's been a lot of weird things. There are some things and some signs I get, but keep in mind also, keep this in mind. When you're talking about things like the dark arts and the Satanists and the Luciferians, they can't take a soul because they don't own a soul. So God, a child of God, they don't get that soul. So they can do anything they want to a physical body. They don't get that soul. And let's see. I don't know if, I think maybe I never talked to him if he converted. I don't think he was converted. I think Keith had like an overall philosophy of life that was a certain way. And so, yeah, they try to deceive and they try to take credit for things they don't do anyway. That's what I feel is going on here. But I think Keith liked to meditate and work out and do all of that in order to strengthen his connection. So I don't know if it was totally Buddhist, but I was happy that he was prayed for, and I was just happy. I was grateful that people took care of my child when I couldn't be there, when his father couldn't be there, or his brother couldn't be there. That's what you have to, because we don't have control. We really don't. You could drop dead tomorrow. I could drop dead tomorrow. We don't know. So never presume that because you have a child, you will outlive your child, or because you are 70, you're going to die first, or because you're 20, you won't die, or because someone's 10, they're not going to die. Bullshit. Shit happens all the time. Just literally bullshit. So that's a misconception on this planet, that we have the right or the expectation to outlive our children. Whoever told us that? That's not actually true. That's a man-made concept. A soul has a mission, and when the soul is done, the soul goes back home. That's what I do know. Now, I think the reason that we live to be old is because maybe we don't do our mission, or we're stupid or something. Or let's see, my parent. Oh, see, yeah, I know, it's very sad. It is very sad. It's sad because I won't see him here. It's very sad because I won't have that. But in the same thing, I know my son does not want us to fall apart. He lived through that in his childhood. Keithy grew up in a home with parents who lost a son, stepson, and son to my husband. Jason grew up around that. We've already been through that, and it didn't break up our family, but it probably wasn't easy for those kids. So I'm not going to respond that way this time. I'm going to learn how to take this in a different way. So that's how I would say. I just know that we need, I'm asking, I'm not saying we need, I am asking for you guys, however you do it in your nightly prayers, to please pray that the information about what happens to Keith steps forward through someone, anyone, a video camera, a witness that decides to come forward, anybody. I know my little Lila Rascal and my Jason and my Johnny, that's all I want. I just want the information about Keith so that it can be handed over and it can be balanced. That's what I want. That's what I'm asking for help for. So I thank you guys for that. And I'm sorry I'm like talking, I'm like exhausted and weirdly exhausted right now. Lila was very upset. She spoke on Keithy, which I thought was really great. She stood up and spoke, which is really hard for a little girl to do. I could only say a couple of sentences. I could only say a couple of sentences. But what I will do is, yeah, I hope the truth is revealed. Whatever the truth is, I'm not making a judgment. I just need it. Yeah, Lila's doing okay because she's with her cousins and mommy and daddy and baby Jack. Baby Jack is being a rascal. Actually, baby Jack is really well trained now. I haven't seen him like in a couple of weeks, maybe. I saw him last week, and baby Jack is doing super awesome and super cute. So you just reminded me. I just reminded myself of something here before I don't save it on my Instagram. I looked at the time. I went, wait, I've got to save it. Anyway, baby Jack is doing good now. He seems to be very well behaved. He's not biting every pair of shoes he can find. He's being very good. So baby Jack is super, and Lila is having fun with her baby Jack and her cousins right now, and it's awesome. And I feel, I don't know, I feel like she felt it, and I know Jason felt it. I know everybody, why wouldn't we feel it? When somebody passes, it's very scary, but ask yourself, which is what I tell people, if we all die, what is it really then? It's just a loss of us with them between now and then when we go back home, which is happening sooner than later, actually. That's kind of what's happening in our world. Sorry, I'm saving this so that I don't forget to save it later on tonight, before it all goes crazy here. If I don't save the video, I'll lose it off Instagram. That's why I'm doing this while I'm talking to you. Yeah, so the first couple of nights after Keithy passed, felt like I was in a horrible void, just like a black tunnel. Don't know how else to describe it. Could feel nothing, just kind of like you feel like you're going to throw up, but you can't, so you just don't know what that is. And then there was a lot of work we had to do. You know, there's all that work. And then there was the focusing on, you know, the functional stuff. So it's very strange. Different feeling, very, very strange. So yeah, I'm going to stop this in a second. Sorry, you guys. There's like all these videos I'm trying to save while I'm talking to you. I've become a weird multitasker during this time, and it's very strange. But I think something will come to light. I just need, wait, who died yesterday? I don't know. I'm sorry, whoever died yesterday. And that was the weirdest thing. Okay, hold on one second, you guys. I'll tell you the weirdest. Okay, let's see if it saves the story. I'm looking. Okay, the weirdest thing, and I'm itchy now. See my nails, you guys? I know you're like, how'd you get your nails done? I did. For Keithy. Anyway, this spells out Keithy's name in block letters on my nails. For my Keithy, for his, I had to do that. Didn't save it, you guys. It didn't save it. Yes, a friend died yesterday also. Oh, I know, it's so difficult. Oh, okay, Trump's brother, somebody's friend. Yeah, there's a lot of like weird things going on right now, and I'm not sure why. Okay, hold on. Oh, oops. I'm trying to get to the end of all these videos. It's crazy. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of people that are passing because we are almost all getting ready to pass, which is a strange thing to say, but that's what's happening. Yeah, Keithy's name is on my nails right here. Yeah, it doesn't feel real at first. I understand the feeling because we've all had people die. But more importantly to me, when something is out of balance and I don't care what's happening around me, I need it to be back in balance. So I need to know what happened. 2 weeks ago, that's about when Keithy passed. It'll be 3 weeks. Yeah, it's a very weird energy. The veil's getting very thin, and so it's just very different. It is very different. Yeah, well, it's a form of the rapture, but not, I haven't read the Bible. I've told you guys that. I have never read it. I didn't go to church. I'm not a nut job. But it is literally warfare right now. That's what's going on. Um, yeah, it is. And that's what I was going to say. When I went to the police station, yeah, I told you, I had to go get the motorbike out, all of that nonsense. Um, these lovely people showed up the second night to tell me what a great person Keith was. And these were his coworkers. And so they were lovely. A woman named Jessica, I was talking to her, and a woman named Angela, and they told me, they came out and they bothered. That one woman, Jessica, is so lovely, both of them lovely. They gave Keith, they made a donation to St. Jude's for Keith through his employees. I mean, through his coworkers, his employer, and they sent it for him, and that was so lovely. But poor Jessica, the day after Keith passed, and she came to see me, her brother passed on his bike. A lady rear-ended him. Who does this? She rear-ended him and killed him. And I believe her brother had a pregnant wife, and that was just down the street from our house. So she was, across the valley at my son's thing. Meanwhile, her brother is getting run over by some crazy. And what the witnesses said is this woman got out of her car. She didn't speak English. She got on the phone. She didn't phone 911, and the cops let her go. What is that? That's what I heard from the street. So it was very strange. Yeah, I have never read the Bible. I've read pieces, but I've never read it. Yeah, it was crazy. And then, yeah, very crazy. It was very crazy energy. So I will say that, but I must go now because now I'm hungry for sugar. Seems to be the thing I like to do now. Sugar. That's what I like. And so I thank you guys for listening to me tonight. I know I'm talking weird and I'm not myself. I'm trying to get back into being myself, and I will do that. I will continue to move forward. I just am so grateful and thankful if you guys can. Rice Krispie bars. Oh my God, I love those. If I eat those, my teeth will probably fall out because I'll eat a whole box. And yes, people can laugh when they're grieving, and people can have fun. People can do all kinds of things, and then they go back to remembering what happened. You guys sent me beautiful letters. Lots of you sent me birthday presents, not knowing this was happening, I'm sure, or before this was happening, and I haven't had a chance to reply. So I am so grateful for everybody that sent me anything and spoke to me and emailed me and texted me and sent me cards and condolences, flowers and food, and I can't eat any more serious food. All of those things for all of you. All of you. I just need us to pray that we get answers. So I am really going to ask for that for everybody. And you guys have said you would do it. So I will absolutely take you at your word. And if you just could do that for a day or two so we get answers, I believe it will work. So that's what I believe. And I hope all of you are good. And I thank you for your concern and for everything and for allowing me to share my family, because I really love my kids. I really love my kids. You know that. My Keithy and my Jason. What would I do in this life if I didn't have them to talk about? I would do nothing, because my whole life was my Keithy, my Jason, my John. That was my whole life. That's basically the extent of who I am as a person, is through my lessons that I learned through my family. So that is just who I am. And I'm going to continue to learn through this experience with Keith and continue to try and understand things differently, because it's the only way I can process it. So that's what I'm going to say. Thank you guys so much. And thank you. And I will be back at some point, I'm sure. Bye, you guys. Oops, it's going. Here I go.